Okay, so this is the chapter review for 1050 named Honor. We had a bit of an incident earlier where my microphone was um, barely audible for an entire recording, technically stream, because that's how I kind of want to do this. I'm messing around with different ways of getting the chapter reviews out. Um, some of them might just be live of me just going through the chapter, talking about what I liked, what I didn't like, panel by panel, everything that I normally do. But then another week, it might be the ones that everyone's used to. Me sitting down, doing a color each chapter, and then speeding it up, putting my talking behind it. I don't know. To me, this seems easier because I can just have one static image up, and that's it. But we'll see. Chapter starts off, like I said, chapter 1050, Honor, with the cover story. And something interesting that I want to talk about is, yes, in this one, Ichiji and Reiju do show up to save their siblings. But the intruders that we saw a few chapters, or a few chapter covers back, were in Chocolate Town. Chocolate Town is a one-day sail from where we are now. Does this mean that this is impossible for them to be here, and that it has to be someone else? Probably. Let's be real. Germa is advanced, but like they still have a ship, like a boat. They don't have a spaceship. They don't have super advanced rockets. They're not blasting across the ocean, unless Oda just forgot about the layout of Whole Cake Island, like the entire area. But like that was kind of a major part of that arc, so I don't think Oda would. Much to think about. You can still make the case that it was Blackbeard's crew, it was the Germas, but like Judge is there on Chocolate Town. Ton of ideas. This is just confirming that Reiju and Ichiji are there to save their siblings. Chapter itself starts off with Kaido reverting back to human form while falling through, I guess, the ground of Wano. And we get this really interesting panel of the hole made by Kaido and the hole made by Big Mom both lead to a magma pool under Wano, and they're apparently in it. And I'm gonna guess that the impact of them hitting the magma caused the earth around the waterfall area to crack, which I would say is a setup for something, but Momonosuke shoots me down later in the chapter, so Luffy literally physically opening up the border of Wano is highly unlikely, but it's possible. And then we get a few panels of Luffy falling from the sky because he passed right the fuck out after he punched Kaido. And we get the text, oh, and Yamato's going to catch Luffy because Luffy will die if he splats. Probably. The skies above Wano. Skull Dome Onigashima. The declared victor of the rooftop battle has been revised. And then we get Yamato saying, "You guys really are something. I can't believe it." And then we can see the Momonosuke is rightfully tired. My dude did just carry an island for how long? Or had to try to carry an island. Which might even be worse than actually carrying the island for that entire time. And then we get a very interesting scene with Kitetsu and Toko. Which, we get a flashback to Yasui. And I'm going to talk about this first, and then I'll talk about the thing that happens present time, because they're two separate events. The flashback with Yasui is Yasui found out that Toko ate one of the smile fruits, and then willingly ate the same fruit so that Toko wouldn't be smiling forever alone, which just makes me like Yasui that much more. I loved him when I was reading to get up to date, but like this is making me adore him. Like one of my favorite characters introduced in Wano, potentially. Well, we'll have to see when Wano is. I don't know. Maybe we'll make a character tier list. But the new, like the current scene, is Togo talking to Kitetsu and saying, "I heard someone say that Daddy knew that they would kill him because he used to be a really, really big deal. But then he decided to let himself get caught anyway. Why would he do that? And Kitetsu thinks back to when Yasui sacrificed himself and says, Yasui gave his life in order to give this country one last chance. If he did not, the embers of hope we were entrusted with would have been snuffed out in an instant. He sacrificed himself for the future. He hoped that one day you would be able to live happily. And she asks if it was for her, and Kitetsu says yes. So she takes the paintbrush that she was painting her lantern with and crosses out the text and instead changes it to from I want to see you, Daddy, to thank you, Daddy. And it hit me just a little bit too hard for what it should have hit, because this is literally just a normal girl who has been through rough circumstances, and all she wanted to do was just potentially see her father again. But she's willing to change that to thank him for dying to give her a normal life. And Kitetsu, I think, says it best. He says, for a samurai, there is no greater honor. And it's so sweet. Then we get Cat Viper saying, everyone listen up, there's no doubt about it now. Luffy drilled Kaido straight into the ground. And Momonosuke used his gigantic dragon form to prevent Onigashima from crash landing. It's been 20 years since this feud over Oden's regret began. And now it's finally over. We've won. And I feel like that is the perfect dialogue, exposition, monologue, whatever you want to call it. That is perfect. Of all of the retainers, of all of the vassals to give this speech. Think about it. We've known Kinemon the longest. This would be a Kinemon speech. But he already got his big, it's been 20 years speech when he thought he was going to die against Kaido. When he told Luffy, I have nothing to show Oden in the afterlife except my regret. Another one would be Raizo. But Raizo just had his big moment where he overcame one of the obstacles that was there 20 years ago with Fukuro Kujo. He's also the one that's saving everyone with the release of the Zou water. And then other than those, well, we knew Kinemon the longest, and then we met Dogstorm and Cat Viper. So it makes sense for one of the Mink retainers to be the one giving the speech. We've known them the longest, other than Kinemon, but I explained that. We get to see the Alliance celebrating. We've won. We beat 2 Emperors of the Sea. I never expected us to survive. Which, I mean, let's be real. No, it really did. And then we get to see a nice bottom third panel. What are the panel barrage, I guess I'll call it, of Kawamatsu, Raizo, Hiyori, Denjiro, Kid, Killer, Law, Beppo, and Scratchman Apu. They're all kind of celebrating in their own ways. But none more so in my mind than Scratchman, because let's be frank, he's probably gonna come to Luffy and be like, "Yeah, I was on your side this entire time, man. Good job," because that's just the kind of two-timing asshole that he is. Then we can see more panels of just some of our friends that we've met. We have Nami, we have Hyogoro, we have Marco. But then we get to see Usopp and Frankie bringing in Kiku, Kinemon, and Zoro, respectively. Usopp is saying, Chopper, these two are in bad shape. And Zoro, not Zoro, I keep messing that up. Frankie says, Chopper, Zoro's not opening his eyes. Which, paired with the next panel of Chopper saying there's too many casualties, really is doing a good job painting a picture. This was a brutal fight for everyone. Yes, we are currently worried about our main characters, Zoro, Kinemon, Kiku, the ones that we know are severely injured, especially Zoro. He was critically injured, and then he continued to fight with the medicine that doubled his injuries. So, like, we know the stakes for these guys. But then, moving on from then, I'm saying and then a lot, and I realize that. We see that Momonosuke is using the voice of all things to talk to Zunisha. And he's saying, Zunisha, can you hear me? I've given it a lot of thought, and I have decided not to open our borders just yet, which goes with the thing I was talking about with Luffy punching Big Mom and Kaido into the magma and causing a crack in the thing. If what happens at the end of the chapter with the explosion, is what I'll say, if that is able to make the cracks in Wano's ground any bigger, the borders are opening up. Like, the waterfall will fall apart. But then Zunesha just says, very well, I shall follow your lead. I trust your judgment. And Momonosuke says, thank you, I'm sorry. And then there's a tremor. And before we get to see what that was, which I kind of alluded to, we're going to see Yamato basically telling the Beast Pirates, be grateful, Momonosuke just saved everyone, so don't go trying to kill other people, or I will personally kill you. But the big event for this chapter, we see it all the way in Udon Prison. There is an explosion from under the sea. Like, the underwater volcano, apparently, blows up from the damage that the magma took. And this is where we get the two most, in my mind, definitive text boxes for Kaido being down. And it is decisive battle in the skies of Wano, Victor Straw Hat Luffy. And then we get to see a nice transition to the Flower Capital, where one of the people sees Momonosuke coming in and she's like, Kaido? What's he doing here? This is our one day to be free. But Momonosuke relieves everyone and says, do not be alarmed, I am Kaido. In fact, that eruption was the final send-off for the Supreme Commander of the Beast Pirates. And then we get a poof sound effect with Momonosuke's dragon form disappearing into the cloud. And then there's no dragon to be seen, but we see 7 silhouettes, and then one very familiar one, which is Hiyori. Some of them look more familiar. We have Kawamatsu, Denjiro, Raizo. Could make a case that Dogstorm's one of them, but Hiyori is flanked by all these silhouettes. And one of the men are wondering how she survived because they all think that Komurasaki died. But Denjiro, or should I say Kyoshiro, has a very interesting thing. Someone asks, where's your patented pompadour? Because now he has the ponytail. And all he replies with is, well, this is going to be a long story. First, allow me to present the new Shogun of Wano. Which, with Momonosuke being right behind him, means potentially, probably, more than likely, that we're going to see adult Momo next chapter. Which is something that I have been waiting for since I've been reading One Piece week to week. So, like, a few months, pretty much. But I'm sure everyone, after the moment that panel with Shinobu saying, you look just like, came out, I'm sure everyone's wanting to see it. Because, like, we can just assume it's going to be, you look just like Odin, because that's his father. And it'd be a narrative thing of, like, Odin died, but he, like, metaphorically came back in the body of his, not metaphorically came back, but, like, he spiritually came back in the body of his son. But, I mean, it'd kind of be interesting if it was someone else. Like, she's so insistent, like, you look just like Kaido, or Roger, or Whitebeard. But Odin is more than likely the right answer. If I had to guess what he's going to look like, more than likely, it'll be Odin, but with Momonosuke's haircut, so side shaved, long top, but like straight up samurai bun in the back, like big samurai bun. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But this leads to another interesting thing that we can talk about, which is Kaido. One interesting thing that I will say, doing these late, because I am doing this at 1:31 on Tuesday morning, when I usually should get these done on like Friday or Saturday, Sunday at the latest, is the fact that I can see what people are talking about the chapter on like Twitter or Reddit or all these different social medias that I follow it on. And one of the big points that people have about this chapter is that Kaido kind of went down in an anticlimactic, quote-unquote, way. And I don't agree with that at all. Because Luffy used an attack that was a fist the size of Onigashima, told Momonosuke to move the island. An entire chapter is dedicated to him throwing this punch, and then we get to see the aftermath, which usually is a maybe 5-page thing. Luffy preparing the attack, he gets his little exposition beforehand, hits, and then we get to see the villain flies back, blood spewing from their mouth, blah. But no, this is a 3-chapter thing. He readies the attack at the end of 1047, 1048. I think it was 1047 because one of the chapters was a break, and then last chapter we get to see the actual attack being thrown, which was Kaido going in dragon form, Luffy throwing the punch, and they're basically them beam clashing from Dragon Ball, basically. And then this chapter we get to see Kaido being thrown down. But an interesting thing that I had an idea of, if Kaido isn't done, which isn't even considering the fact that he might have been caught up in the volcano. He might have just been exploded with Big Mom. What if Kaido is still active, that explosion woke him up, and he flies in dragon form to the flower capital, just out of instinct because he sees something's going on there. He's all burnt, he's all bloodied, he's on basically death's door just like Luffy is. And then Luffy's down. He can't do anything. But Momonosuke can. Or we get the vassals, but this is Momonosuke that I'm trying to say. Momonosuke gets the final hit on Kaido, which is this definitive right in front of the flower capital on the big holiday basically that they get. He's taking down the guy who has caused Wano so much trouble. Yes, Luffy technically did most of the work, which, again, I'm going to bring this up. You have to consider the fact that Kaido has been fighting for 60 chapters. Because he was fighting before Luffy made it to the roof with the vassals. The vassals were not that big of a fight for him, because he was kind of just light moding them. Luffy shows up, they have their fight, with the addition of Kid, Law, Zoro, and Killer all being there. Zoro tanks an attack from Kaido and Big Mom, which, holy shit. Then Kaido has to fight Yamato, with Luffy tagging in and out consistently. You have all these people fighting Kaido for 60 chapters, pretty much. And then he goes down to an attack the size of an island. Yeah, no shit, he's gonna be knocked out. I wouldn't be surprised if this is done and over with, he doesn't get this comeback. But I'm just trying to think, possibly, if Oda wants to bring Kaido back for this kind of thing, that would be the most narratively fulfilling way of doing it, because Momonosuke's kind of been crybaby, can't do anything himself most of the story until now, where he gets this big final villain beatdown. All in all, chapter was pretty good. Yeah, some people say it was anticlimactic, but I think it was pretty interesting seeing how everyone reacted to Kaido actually being taken down. Even Yamato wasn't immediately, okay, beast pirates are all gonna fucking die. No, Yamato was just straight up bro, be grateful. Come on. Which I love. Yamato is potentially top tier Wano character right there. Probably top tier character in general, let's be real. Yeah, good chapter. Felt like a lot happened, because a lot did happen. Kaido just went down. Big Mom went down a few chapters ago. So yeah, no shit, this is a big thing. It's also the first moment where it's really been sold that not just one, 2 emperors have been taken down in fairly short succession. So yeah, I haven't done this before. I probably won't remember to do this from now on, but I'd give this chapter a solid, I don't know if I want to give it a out of 10, a letter grade or something. I'm gonna go with letter grade. Solid B plus, potentially A minus. Maybe. Let me think. Strong chapter. Good double page spreads. After considering it, I'm gonna give this chapter a minus because I'm just in a good mood. I really like the chapter. I like the build up to the next chapter. Oda's been doing this really cool thing where chapter to chapter, it just keeps you on the edge of your seat. And if I remember correctly, we are not on break next week. We get a chapter. We don't have a break scheduled for, other than the break every 3 weeks that Oda's been taking, or 3 chapters and a break. I don't think we have any other scheduled breaks in the year, because somebody on Twitter said that. I'm not going to say it's gospel, but that's what I've heard. But yeah, other than that, this has been me live streaming my thoughts on the chapter. I have to come up with a more engaging visual. Let's be real. I can't just have one static picture up for an entire chapter review. It's kind of boring. I could work on like putting GIFs up, getting GIFs of relevant characters, stuff like that. I'm gonna try to make these streams saucy as I can. But yeah, this has been my review for chapter 1050, Honor. Kaido's down, an explosion rocks Wano, and Momonosuke, human form next chapter. Let's fucking go. Also, let's be real, there's no way Kaido was going to be confirmed to be down before a 10-page, like a chapter ending in 0. Like, those are the big chapters. Especially 50, bro. 1050. We are halfway to 1100. Holy shit. Okay. But yeah, that's been it for me. I'm going to tap out now. It's 1:38 in the morning. I got to go get some shut-eye. I had to battle with my microphone for far too long for such a simple solution. I'm going to actually talk about this real quick. It won't be long. So I use an XLR mic, and it goes into a Behringer audio interface, and the Behringer is a USB plug to adapt the XLR, hence why the microphone is pretty high quality when my AC isn't running on the other side of the room, but it's a pretty decent mic. But you have to have your USB plugged into a good, solid USB port, obviously. You couldn't have it in a port that's falling apart. And I use a USB hub, like it's a 4-port adapter that you can plug into your computer so you have more USB ports. I have it for my mouse so I can have my, I think originally it was my mic, my art tablet, and my mouse all plugged in together. A lot of USB stuff, and I can't do that without it. So, I can plug the art tablet into the hub, no sweat. But I couldn't plug in the mic, apparently, because when I tried to record it, which I alluded to at the beginning, the audio was so quiet you could not hear it for 90% of it, and the 10% you could was me, like, sneezing and shit. So yeah, no shit, it wasn't a good recording. So I learned that about my mic. But yeah, don't use an audio interface and plug it into a USB adapter. It's not worth the risk of you not getting good audio. I should have seen the fact that my microphone level thing on OBS wasn't bouncing up and down. I'll actually point out what I mean. No, I won't. Yes, I will. Yeah, I will. So, like, let's see. This right here. This is what I'm talking about. How when I talk it bounces because volume and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'll work on getting the chapter review streams to be a little higher quality and not so bland. But this chapter is really good. And this way it also just goes straight onto YouTube. No Premiere Pro fuck-ups. No having to record audio on Audacity, then putting it in Premiere Pro, then exporting it. No colors that I have to do, potentially fucking up. You know, it's just really cool. But yeah, that has been it for this chapter review. Like I've been trying to end for the last 3 minutes. Until next time, stay safe, have fun, and read more manga. Oh no, I did not just say that. Oh no, not the hiccups. Stay safe, have fun.